You are not born to function. You are not born to become a well-behaved machine inside a world that forgot the soul. And yet, this is how many people live. They wake up, they work, they react, they repeat, they survive. And after some years, they call this life. But this is not life. This is only the life they were taught to accept. You are not born to function. You are not born to become a well-behaved machine inside a world that forgot the soul. And yet, this is how many people live. They wake up, they work, they react, they repeat, they survive. And after some years, they call this life. But this is not life. This is only the life they were taught to accept. The false life. Most people do not even notice how far they have moved away from themselves. The world teaches them to be useful, to be productive, to obey, to adjust, to stay busy, to carry pressure, to keep going. But very few are taught to remember who they truly are. Very few are taught that life is not meant to be lived only from fear, duty, survival, and repetition. And this is where the human being begins to fall. Not always in one dramatic moment, but slowly, day after day. A little less joy, a little less truth, a little less freedom, a little less love, a little less connection with the soul, until a person becomes functional, but not truly alive. Life is freedom. Life is freedom. This must be said clearly. Life is not only movement. Life is not only working. Life is not only paying bills. Life is not only surviving another day. Life is freedom. Freedom in the body. Freedom in the energy. Freedom in the heart. Freedom in the mind. Freedom in the soul. The freedom to live from love. The freedom to live from joy. The freedom to live from abundance. The freedom to live from divine awareness. Anything less than freedom is in some way a form of slavery. Maybe not the slavery people recognize from history, but a more hidden slavery. The slavery of fear, the slavery of stress, the slavery of unconscious repetition, the slavery of needing approval, the slavery of living below your true energy. And because this slavery has become normal, many people no longer question it. They call it life. But deep inside, something knows. Something in them says, this cannot be all. The real wound. Most people think they are tired, but tiredness is only the surface. Many are not only tired, they are living below their true energy. They live below their natural joy, below their inner abundance, below their divine power, below the life that was meant to move through them. And when a person lives too long below their true energy, everything becomes heavier. The body becomes tense. The mind becomes noisy. The heart becomes guarded. The soul becomes quiet. And life becomes gray. Not because life itself is gray, but because the human being has been separated from the higher state of life. This is the real wound. Not only stress, not only lack of rest, not only bad habits. The real wound is forgetting who you are, forgetting why you are here, forgetting the divine life within you. My work, I am not here to give another meditation technique. I am not here to help people adapt better to a life that keeps them small. I am not here to make people calm enough so they can return to the same unconscious repetition. That is not my work. My work is to help raise the human being, to raise the energy above the ordinary level of stress, fear, and survival, to help people return to love, to joy, to abundance, to healing, to divine awareness. Meditation is only the doorway. The real path is total transformation, not a small improvement, not one peaceful hour, but a return to the true life within you, a life that is not controlled by fear, a life that is not reduced to duty, a life that is not built around survival, a life that remembers freedom. Why meditation? Meditation is powerful, but not because it is fashionable, not because it is another wellness tool, Meditation becomes powerful when it opens the human being again, when the body begins to relax, when the energy begins to rise, when the heart begins to soften, when consciousness begins to see, when the soul begins to remember, when the divine presence within begins to become real again. That is meditation, not escape, not performance, not sitting quietly while life remains the same. Real meditation is a doorway, and when the doorway opens, life can begin to change from within. The 21-day path. This is why the free weekly world meditation is connected to a 21-day inner preparation, because people need a path. Not more information, a path. When you register, you begin with a master book. Then every 3 days, you receive another meditative book. Each one opens a step of the ladder: the body, the energy, the heart, consciousness, the soul, divine awareness, heaven on earth within. These books are not meant to be read quickly. They are meant to be lived for 3 days, to create an inner path, to prepare your whole being for meditation that can go deeper. Because transformation is not only something you understand, it is something that must enter the body, the energy, the heart, the consciousness, the soul. Then meditation is no longer only a practice. It becomes a living field of transformation. Heaven on earth, I know what I want. Heaven on earth, not as a fantasy, not as a religious idea, but as a living state, a life of love, a life of joy, a life of abundance, a life of healing, a life of divine awareness. This begins within. When one human being rises above fear, something changes. When one human being returns to love, something changes. When one human being stops living as a slave to stress, repetition, and unconsciousness, something changes. And when many people do this together, the field becomes stronger. This is why the meditation is free. The first door must remain open. I want to reach as many people as possible, not to convince them, not to sell them another dream, but to open a space where they can feel what words cannot fully explain. If the mind does not understand yet, the being may still recognize. You were not born to function. You were not born to live below your true energy. You were not born to disappear into a false life and call it normal. You are here to remember who you truly are. Life is freedom, and meditation is the doorway back to that freedom. If your heart recognizes this, you are welcome. Free weekly world meditation, every Saturday at 1700 CET, live on Zoom. Register to receive the Zoom link and begin the 21-day inner path. Meditation is only the doorway. The real path is remembrance, liberation, and total transformation.